What's going on? My name is Blake, and I wanted to talk a little bit about kettlebells and do they maintain your strength? I think a lot of people underestimate the value of kettlebells in your training and how valuable they can be. And what I've found is that most people, if you go to your average commercial gym, at least in North America, mind you, unless you're in a CrossFit specific gym or some kind of like functional fitness, different type of gym, but you go to your average commercial gym, most people aren't using kettlebells except for a warm up. I see people do goblet squats with them, sometimes swings, some type of like RDL or deadlift or lunge, and that's really about it. But you don't see people using them for things like cleans, jerks, presses, snatches, and everything that makes kettlebells so great and valuable and all the ballistic properties. Now, I have been training with kettlebells almost exclusively now for 3 years. I'm like just shy of 3 years. And before that, I trained with barbells and dumbbells and machines and cables and all the standard gym implements that most people use. Okay. I was into bodybuilding for a while when I was younger, like just recreational, not like serious bodybuilding, but I was using like the pec deck and cables and doing a lot of like side lateral raises and cable side laterals and just a lot of like dumbbells and dumbbell bench press, incline bench press, um, things like that. And then I got into more power building and doing more full body stuff, but I was doing like clean and press, standing with barbells, bent over rows with barbells, squats with barbells, chin ups, things like that. More full body stuff. And that, I got burnt out with training in that fashion and I gravitated to kettlebells. They piqued my interest. And so I stuck with it. I started it. It was really fun and I've been doing it mostly ever since. But I actually went to a commercial gym yesterday just for fun to see what kind of numbers I could put up having trained with only kettlebells. And I I do double and single kettlebell exercises, but I'm training seriously with kettlebells, and that's where I think people get lost in thinking that, oh, they're only good for like cardio. But if you're training seriously with double kettlebells or at heavier singles, even if you're training with a moderate, not even a heavyweight with a single, you can build muscle, you can get athletic, and really make strides in your fitness with kettlebells. I use double 16 kilogram kettlebells. I use double 20s, double 24s, single 24, single 20, single 28, occasionally single 32, and that's about it. That's about where I'm topping out with kettlebells. I complement that with some body weight stuff, calisthenics work like some push ups, occasionally dips, L sits, things like that, okay? And yoga and mobility esque stuff as well. And it's fantastic. But I went to a gym yesterday and I was still able to overhead standing press, push press, mind you. I was using a little bit of leg drive, but I could get 135 pounds for 2 reps of clean and or not clean, I'm sorry, from the rack push press, which I felt really good about. I could do 115 pounds strict and bang out like 4 reps or something, which it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's a difficult lift. Standing barbell press is probably the hardest barbell lift to improve at, and most people can't do their body weight. I, for reference, weigh around 145 pounds. So for me, being able to do that, 5'5", around 145 pounds, and be able to get 135 overhead, I feel like I've maintained a pretty good strength base just off kettlebells alone. And I did do some back squats as well, and I was able to get up 205. I probably could have squeaked out 225 for 1 rep, maybe two, but I was a little bit shaky with it. It's been a while. Like I just didn't want to risk anything with injury, and I'm super sore just from that today because while kettlebells are fantastic, they don't have the total loads with on your legs like like barbells do. It's just never going to be as maximal the load, and that's fantastic. Like they're fine. They have different, it's more of like a cardiovascular strength endurance tool, but they do have some limitations. If your goal is 100% max absolute strength, but my point being is that I was able to walk into a gym without using barbells for 3 years and squat over 200 pounds just off using kettlebells alone, and not extremely heavy kettlebells. So I've been able to maintain a good amount of strength doing that. Now, I feel like if I went back to training with barbells, I could probably get pretty close to where I was at within 1 to 2 months. If I just took it seriously 3 days a week, barbell, I could probably get up to 135 strict standing for 5 reps again. And yeah, I could probably squat 225 for 5. But I will say this, I don't have a desire anymore to do it all the time. Maybe every now and again I'll go in for fun, but I prefer the way I feel training with kettlebells. I like how it's easier on my joints. I really like how pressing is kinder to my shoulders. I can get a much better range of motion and allow my body to work more efficiently and a press groove that feels better for me, instead of being forced into this fixed bar path where I'm locked in this one plane of motion. With a kettlebell, you don't have to wing out like a dumbbell either. You can go straight up, you can get a little bit of side activation, but you can really explore and find what works for your body and what feels the best. And I feel so much more athletic training like this. I've maintained a good fitness level. Just in general, my cardio is so much better than it used to be when I was a little bulkier but stronger and trained mainly with barbells only. And I'm not slamming barbells. I think they're fantastic. But I'm just at a place in my life with my fitness levels where I want something that's easily accessible, something with a busy schedule that's really easy to bang out a solid workout or a fairly minimalistic routine. And kettlebells do that. They're portable. If you were driving, for work or something, you could take 120 kilo kettlebell with you and get a fantastic workout in. Just bang some swings and snatches, high rep out, and it's such a fantastic tool. And they're easier to recover from. I can do it 2 or 3 times a week. I don't feel as beat up, banged up. Like today, my legs are super sore. I'm gonna do some mobility stuff after this just to try and loosen back up, but I just don't have a desire to go back to maximal loads anymore. I'm in my early 30s. I just, the days of really caring purely about aesthetics, purely about just strength in terms of numbers on a bar with dumbbells, whatever. It's kind of past me. I just want to do what feels right, and kettlebells offer a variety of things you can do. There's so many exercises and just things you can really get a solid workout, and they're a lot of fun. So I am pleased that I've been able to maintain the strength that I have in using them. I just think that they're underestimated, they're underappreciated, and people think that they're only good for swings, goblet squats, and just light little warm-up stuff, when really, they can replace the bulk of what you would do for strength training if you actually know what you're doing. Now, if your goals are competitive powerlifting, it's not the tool for the job. If your goals are you're really trying to be a bodybuilder, it's not the tool for the job. But if your goals are GPP, being reasonably strong and good strength endurance, improving your cardiovascular health and getting strong enough, fantastic. A pair of double 24 kg kettlebells will get most people as strong as they probably need to be reasonably. And if you do it with the right rep ranges and enough volume, you're going to grow. You're going to get some muscle gain out of it and hypertrophy. So I think kettlebells can be fantastic. I think they're underutilized, underappreciated, And I think that if you're burnt out on training like just typical barbell stuff, hey, give them a try, because there's really a lot to be learned, and it's so fun to me. Like now it's like, I don't know, it's just boring. Like the concept of going back and training with just all these barbell lifts, like I have so much fun with the ballistic property of kettlebells and swinging it and just doing cleans, and it just feels so much more like athletic, and it's more like playing than it is just this really regimented and boring kind of like, okay, it's work, I don't want to do it. It's really a lot more like playing, and it keeps me consistent because it's fun. So that's my 2 cents on kettlebell training, maintaining strength, and yeah, give them a try.